Most people think money is only about math, income, expenses, savings. But let's be honest, if that were true, we wouldn't see so many smart people broke. The truth is deeper. Money responds to discipline, to wisdom, and yes, to God's eternal principles. The Bible isn't just a spiritual book, it's the greatest financial guide ever written. Yet most ignore its rules and wonder why their business fails, or why they never seem to make money last. What if I told you that financial success isn't about luck, politics, or even how much you earn? It's about alignment. And when you align your money with the timeless laws God already set in place, you cannot help but prosper. Not overnight, not through shortcuts, but through proven steps that work 100% of the time. These aren't theories. They are battle-tested truths that have built empires, rescued families, and changed destinies. Some will dismiss this, saying, "The Bible has nothing to do with money," but history proves otherwise, from Abraham's herds to Solomon's wealth, from Joseph's economic plan to Paul's warnings against debt. The Word of God has always shaped economies. The problem isn't that Scripture is silent on money. The problem is that we've been too deaf to listen. If you like our content, consider supporting our ministry through the link in the description. In this video, we'll break down the 10 biblical money rules that always work, no matter your income. These aren't secrets, they're strategies. And once you understand them, you'll never look at money the same way again. So get ready, because what you're about to learn could be the turning point in your financial story. Have a written money plan. Most people stumble financially not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack a plan. The Bible makes it clear, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first, and counteth the cost?" Luke 14:28. Planning is not optional, it's spiritual wisdom. Without a written money plan, business turns into chaos, and money slips away like sand through the fingers. A plan is proof that you take stewardship seriously. When you write a budget, you are essentially partnering with God to steward what He has entrusted to you. This isn't about restriction, it's about direction. A written plan shows you where your money is going instead of wondering where it went. It's like a roadmap. You wouldn't set out on a cross-country journey without one. Why would you try to make money without a guide? In the financial markets, wealthy investors never move without strategy. They forecast, hedge, and track performance. If Wall Street won't risk billions without a written plan, why would you risk your household income without one? Writing down your spending is not old-fashioned. It's the secret behind sustainable wealth in every generation. Money respects order, not confusion. So before we talk about escaping debt or building investments, understand this. Wealth begins with clarity. No one accidentally wins with money, and you won't be the exception. Write it down, track it daily, and let the discipline train your heart. That written plan is the foundation on which every other biblical money rule will stand. Without it, nothing else works. Get out of debt fast. The Bible doesn't mince words about debt. The borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Debt is modern slavery dressed in a suit and tie. Every time you send money to a credit card company, you're making them rich while you stay stuck. Your most powerful wealth-building tool is your income, but when debt chains it down, you lose your freedom to build a business, to invest, to make money for your own family's future. Imagine working 40 hours a week only to hand over most of your paycheck to banks. That's not freedom, that's financial servitude. The skyline of every city is filled with towers owned by lenders, not by debtors. They profit from your payments while you struggle to breathe. God never designed you to live in perpetual debt. He designed you to be free, to have margin, to create and expand. Practical steps matter here. List every debt, from smallest to largest. Pay the minimum on all, but attack the smallest with intensity until it's gone. Then roll that payment into the next one. This debt snowball is not just math, it's momentum. Each victory strengthens your resolve and breaks the psychological chains. As Romans 13:8 says, "Owe no one anything except to love each other." Debt is urgent. While you delay, interest compounds against you. The faster you run, the quicker you reclaim your income as a tool to make money for kingdom purposes. Get out of debt fast, because every day you remain enslaved is a day you could have been free to invest, to grow, to give. And once those chains break, the next step becomes possible, learning to truly live below your means. Live below your means. Proverbs 21:20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." Living below your means isn't about deprivation, it's about wisdom. Too many people confuse lifestyle with success, spending every dollar as fast as it comes in. But if you spend everything you make, you're setting yourself up for scarcity. Money doesn't grow in chaos. It multiplies in discipline. Think of a family that earns $60,000 a year and spends $59,900. They may feel secure, but they're only one emergency away from disaster. Meanwhile, another family earning the same income but spending $45,000 creates margin. That margin is where opportunity lives. The second family can invest, start a business, or make money in ways the first never can. It's not about income, it's about habits. The American dream often tempts people to live like they're rich before they actually are. But buying a luxury car on payments doesn't make you wealthy. It makes the bank wealthy. True wealth builders drive modest cars, live in reasonable homes, and quietly stack cash. They don't need to prove their success through possessions because their accounts speak louder than their image. Living below your means isn't a punishment, it's a strategy for freedom. When you spend less than you earn, you create breathing room. That breathing room becomes savings, and savings become investments. It's the bridge between paycheck-to-paycheck survival and financial independence. And once you learn this discipline, you're finally ready to start saving money on purpose instead of by accident. Save money on purpose. Most people only save what's left at the end of the month, and the truth is, there's usually nothing left. But the Bible points us toward intentionality. Joseph stored grain during 7 years of abundance, so Egypt could survive 7 years of famine, Genesis 41. Saving money isn't random, it's purposeful. It's the act of creating margin today so you can make money moves tomorrow without fear. Think of savings as your financial safety net. Without it, one medical bill, car repair, or job loss can unravel years of progress. A disciplined saver, however, is unshaken by storms. This is why financial mentors always recommend starting with at least $1,000 in emergency funds, then building 3 to 6 months of living expenses. That cushion keeps you from sliding back into debt when life surprises you. Saving also positions you for opportunity. When the stock market dips, when real estate softens, or when a business idea presents itself, only those with cash on hand can seize it. Proverbs 6 urges us to consider the ant who stores provisions in summer and gathers at harvest. Ants don't hope things will work out. They prepare. You should too. Here's the truth. Money doesn't respect intentions, only actions. If you wait to see what's left over, savings will always be zero. But if you treat saving like a bill, automated, consistent, prioritized, you'll build wealth over time. Save on purpose, not by accident, because once savings become part of your rhythm, you're ready to multiply them through wise and consistent investments. Invest wisely and consistently. The Bible is clear. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians 9:6. Investing is a form of sowing. Putting seeds into the ground with faith, they'll produce a harvest. Too many people delay investing because they think they need thousands to start. But consistency beats timing. A small seed planted faithfully grows into a tree that provides shade for generations. In the financial world, compounding is often called the eighth wonder of the world. If you invest $500 a month into an index fund that averages 10%, you'll cross over $1 million in about 30 years. That's not gambling, it's mathematics. Biblical wisdom always aligns with reality. Those who plan, sow, and wait patiently will see results. The problem isn't the stock market, it's procrastination. Practical investing means diversifying. Mutual funds, index funds, or even real estate when done with cash. Some choose dividend-paying stocks for steady income, others build rental portfolios. What matters most isn't the exact vehicle, it's the discipline of doing it consistently. 100% of people who never invest remain broke. The farmer who never sows never reaps, no matter how much he prays for rain. Investing wisely is about more than returns. It's about faith and stewardship. Every dollar you put to work is a servant building for your future. Don't bury your talent in the ground like the fearful servant in Matthew 25. Put it to work, multiply it, and let your money serve you. Because once you master consistency in investing, you'll understand the importance of not keeping all your eggs in one basket, something Solomon himself warned against. Diversify like Solomon. Ecclesiastes 11:2 advises, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Even in ancient times, the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, understood diversification. He spread his wealth across ships, trade routes, agriculture, and alliances. Why? Because no single stream of income is guaranteed forever. Business shifts, markets crash, and money can vanish overnight if tied to just one source. Modern investors know this too. A portfolio built only on tech stocks in the year 2000 or only on real estate in 2008 ended in disaster. But those who spread risk, stocks, bonds, real estate, and even small business ventures were positioned to recover. Diversification isn't fear-based, it's wisdom-based. It's not about chasing everything, but about balancing enough streams so one collapse doesn't sink your financial ship. Think about it practically. If you work a 9 to 5, that's one stream. Add a side business, a rental property, or dividend stocks, and you've created safety nets. The average millionaire has multiple income streams, not just one paycheck. This doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design. Solomon built international trade networks because he knew local harvests could fail. He planned for uncertainty before it arrived. Diversification also protects your heart from panic. When one investment dips, you're not destroyed because others keep you afloat. It's about peace as much as profit. God calls us to be wise stewards, and stewardship means spreading risk, not gambling everything on one roll of the dice. Once you learn this principle, you'll be ready to pair diversification with another critical law of wealth: working diligently instead of waiting passively. Work diligently, not passively. Proverbs 14:23 teaches all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Work is not a curse. It was part of God's design from the beginning. Adam was given the task of tending the garden before sin ever entered the world. That means diligence is divine. Waiting passively for money to show up or hoping some quick scheme will deliver wealth is not biblical. Real profit comes when you put your hands, mind, and spirit into productive labor. In today's culture, many are drawn to the fantasy of making money without effort. Lotteries, get-rich-quick schemes, or even scrolling for the next crypto gamble. But the truth is, shortcuts rarely work, and when they do, they rarely last. Look at any sustainable business empire. It was built brick by brick, decision by decision, through years of focused work. Diligence may not be glamorous, but it produces what passive waiting never will. Work diligently also means working wisely. You can swing a hammer for 60 years and barely scrape by, but applying wisdom, learning high-demand skills, networking, building a business, multiplies your results. The ant, praised in Proverbs 6, doesn't sit still waiting for provision. It works, it prepares, it gathers. God blesses effort aligned with wisdom, not laziness disguised as waiting for a miracle. Diligence isn't about being a workaholic either. It's about consistency and persistence in the right direction. When you show up daily, sharpen your skills, and refuse to quit, doors open. Money follows motion. Faith without works is dead, James 2:17, and finances without diligence are lifeless too. And once you understand this principle, you'll also see why Scripture warns us to avoid the false promises of wealth that comes too quickly. Avoid get-rich-quick traps. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time." The Bible consistently warns against chasing fast money. Why? Because it preys on greed and impatience, two enemies of wisdom. Lottery tickets, pyramid schemes, and speculative fads promise wealth overnight, but they almost always leave people poorer and disillusioned. God's design for money is steady growth, not reckless gambling. Think of the thousands who threw savings into crypto hype, meme stocks, or shady online opportunities. Some gained temporarily, but most lost it all. That's not investing. It's gambling with your future. Real wealth is built like a vineyard, planted, watered, and nurtured over seasons. The farmer who expects grapes the day after planting seeds is a fool. The same is true with money. Shortcuts lead to setbacks. Even in business, beware of the too good to be true deals. If someone guarantees you 50% returns with no risk, run. True investors know that every opportunity carries both reward and risk. The difference is discernment. Study, pray, seek wise counsel before committing your resources. Proverbs tells us that plans fail without counsel, but succeed with many advisors. Proverbs 15:22. Don't go alone into financial traps. Patience isn't weakness, it's strength. It separates those who build lasting legacies from those who chase illusions. As you avoid the seduction of fast money, you prepare your heart for something greater, building wealth that outlives you. Because biblical prosperity is never just about you, it's about blessing generations to come. And that takes us to the next rule, the calling to build generational wealth. Build generational wealth. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children." True wealth is not measured by what you consume today, but by what remains tomorrow. God's vision for money is multi-generational. He wants you to think beyond your lifetime, to establish a legacy that empowers your children and grandchildren. Wealth is not just about making money. It's about creating structures that endure. Consider Abraham. God promised him descendants as numerous as the stars, and along with that promise came land, herds, and blessings. His wealth was not only for himself, but for generations after him. The same principle applies today. It could be real estate passed down, a business that outlives you, or investments structured to benefit future heirs. Generational wealth transforms your family tree. In the financial world, the wealthy build trusts, foundations, and portfolios that survive them. They think in decades, not days. Too many families, however, spend everything within one generation, forcing each new child to start from zero. This is not biblical stewardship. Leaving behind debt is not a legacy. It's a burden. Leaving behind wealth and wisdom, however, positions your descendants to flourish. Building generational wealth requires discipline now, saving, investing, and avoiding unnecessary debt. It also requires teaching your children how to steward money God's way so the legacy doesn't evaporate. Wealth without wisdom destroys families. Wealth with wisdom multiplies them. And when your vision shifts from survival to legacy, you're finally prepared for the most joyful money rule of all: radical generosity. Practice radical generosity. The ultimate purpose of wealth is not accumulation, it's impact. Acts 20:35 reminds us, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Generosity is not what you do after you become rich. It's what positions you to live richly in spirit. When money stops flowing through you and only pools around you, it turns stagnant. But when you give freely, you become a channel of God's provision, and money finds purpose beyond yourself. Think of the Good Samaritan. He not only gave time and compassion, but also paid for the man's lodging and care. That's financial generosity in action. Radical giving transforms communities, builds ministries, and brings heaven's values to earth. A business that only takes will collapse, but one that gives back earns loyalty, favor, and legacy. Making money is good. Using money to bless others is divine. Generosity doesn't always mean millions. Sometimes it's paying a struggling neighbor's grocery bill, funding a missionary trip, or sowing into your church's vision. Each act says, I trust God more than I trust my bank account. Proverbs 11:25 promises, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Giving is not subtraction. It's multiplication under God's economy. When you reach this stage, money no longer controls you. You control it. You're free from debt, disciplined in saving, wise in investing, and intentional about legacy. Now you can give outrageously, knowing you're aligned with God's heart. And while most stop here, this is just the beginning of the journey. Because the real challenge is not just practicing these rules, but applying them daily with courage and faith. You've just walked through 10 biblical money rules that are as practical today as they were thousands of years ago. The question now is, will you treat this as just information, or will you apply it? Knowledge without action changes nothing. But the moment you decide to step out in faith, to align your money with God's wisdom, everything begins to shift. Imagine your life free from debt, with savings in the bank, investments growing, and the ability to give generously. That's not just theory, it's God's design for you. But it won't happen by accident. It happens when you take responsibility, when you write the plan, when you choose diligence over passivity. Your financial future is not controlled by Washington, Wall Street, or the economy. It's in your hands. So I'll ask you this. Which of these rules are you going to apply today? Will you start with a budget, attack your debt, or finally set aside that first savings deposit? Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start with what you have. Faith is not about waiting until everything feels safe. Faith is about moving now, trusting God with the outcome. Write in the comments, I will follow God's plan for my life, and watch how this powerful declaration begins to shift the course of your business and your finances from this day forward. If this word has impacted you, consider supporting our ministry through the link in the description, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The journey doesn't end here, it's only beginning.